Hello, folks. Welcome to On the Call Season 2, produced by the stars among us. This is Ozzy, and I appreciate you for tuning in to this thank you tour via this thank you card, which shines light on those who have impacted me in my life in one way or another. And on this 10th episode, I introduce you to Genevieve Brewer. Hello, Genevieve.
Hello, Ozzy.
We met in 2003 when you were starting out with About Face division of Carson Kolker. And then you grew from that space in the theater district to Park Avenue.
Yes.
Where now you're working with clients for House of Cards, Orange is the New Black, Blacklist, The Deuce, Uncut Gems, Southpaw, and folks, this is just a partial list, with also for commercials, Nike, Verizon, etc. Or any job that I have worked on and your name came up, it would always be the same thing. Oh my God, her enthusiasm, the way she is straightforward, the way she lets you know in non-certain terms what needs to be done, how it needs to be done. People feel so loved by you. And I just wanted you to know and feel that. I'm sure you've heard it, but I just wanted you to really feel it again, because it's many years since 2000. It was actually 2003.
Yeah.
Because of our dear friend Renton and his film.
Yes.
And 2004 is when things happened with him.
Yes.
Yes, I remember.
Correct. And thank you so much, Ozzy, for saying that again. That really is so appreciative, and you know, really resonates with how I try to be every day. So I so appreciate you saying that.
Right. And then in 2015, you formed your JB Talent, Genevieve Brewer Talent Agency. But my question to you is, what was the thought from About Face to Genevieve? What was the idea? What sort of clients were you taking on? How different would it be?
Basically, when I opened my own management company in 2015, I was just, as you kind of had said, I had been really close with a lot of clients, and I also wanted to have a smaller roster and also really be more hands-on with their work and be able to produce and package and look at scripts more. And, you know, I really had a calling to always be an activist and to really push some clients forward and to really do great things in the LGBTQ plus community, as well as really push for diversity. So that was my way of doing it. I said, if I don't do it now and I take the chance and go off on my own, as much as I loved it, being an agent was so great. I loved starting the division at About Face, starting from modeling, then went to commercials and print. And I have such great memories of About Face at Carson Kolker and everyone I worked with there. And it was a really special 10 years. It was just awesome. It was just my calling to manage. I started as an intern in the writing department back at ABC at All My Children. And I always thought I would be a full-time writer, producer. So management was just my calling to encompass it all. And when I started, I just wasn't sure how it was going to happen, but it really, through support, it really came together for me. So it was just the best decision I could have made, because 5 years later, seeing like these scripts now that are moving forward and seeing the projects I'm able to be such hands-on with and help co-produce, it was definitely, you know, such an amazing decision for me.
So let me take it back a little bit. What was the catalyst to move you into this whole entertainment business, to get you into ABC? What was it that...
I really thought that I was going to be a full-time writer. So I sent my scripts in to All My Children, among some others. I knew that back in 98, the soaps it wasn't all the options like we have now. So the soaps were really prevalent. There was a lot going on. And I really wanted to start somewhere where I'd be working all the time. And I got the internship at ABC. And from there, it just grew where I could come back, finish my college credits producing and doing an internship over at One Life to Live, and just getting into the business and starting just at a young age was really amazing for me to be able to just do that on my own and work really hard and make my own contacts in my own way. So that's how I started, and then I started producing and moving into other areas into the field. And one of my really close friends, Brandon Snyder, said, you'd make a really great agent. And I took him seriously, and I looked into it. And after I had been producing for a while over at SoapNet, at Soap Center at SoapNet, I then interviewed over at Abrams Artists and was really, really grateful when I got the job there to work in the children's department with Bonnie Schmosky. And she was an amazing mentor for me. And it was wild. It was fast and furious, but it was really cool. And it was great how one thing kind of led to the other.
Was that what you were studying in college, or?
Yes, I was a communications major and a film minor. So, and I loved horror film, which is why I'm always involved in horror films. And I'm so excited that a few of my colleagues are producing some good ones right now. And my good friend Pamela Kramer is amazing in that genre, and she teaches this great class. And that's why we're such good friends in the industry. So I'm really, really psyched about how it all now came together. I can use more of my minor now more than ever when I'm looking at these scripts.
Pamela is a great person.
Yeah, she's amazing. A couple of times. She was one of my first real supporters when I started in the business, and she's been with me all the way ever since. And I'm supportive of her too.
How did you get to start working in the European market?
For shows that are international, a lot of these shows will have casting breakdowns, just like the breakdowns in LA and New York. So it's the same type of process where I'll also submit. I also taught a really great program over in London with kids that were overcoming diversity and challenges. It was really cool too. And I've always just been very pro diversity, pro the underdog, fighting for those that I felt like maybe had the voice but needed that extra help. I was like, I really found my calling in that. And so that's kind of also what I do with kids overseas when I went. I've traveled a lot and doing things in that space as well.
Wow. So when you compare the way things are done in London and the way things are done here, how do you suss that out?
I feel like it's all been very positive in my experience. The people I work with overseas, people I work with here, all extremely positive. I've had no qualms with anything. So I think it's really about who you associate with. I think that's all part of my brand too, and my company is, I work with clients that live all over, that shoot all over the world. And it's really also about the manager client connection. Going back to that, you and I always had this special connection from the day we met, and we've kept it through the years. And I feel the same with all my clients, wherever they are, wherever they happen to be working.
What do you like most about what you do?
There's so many things I love about it. I think
the top three.
Yeah. So I feel that being creative and going against the grain when I push someone that a casting director is kind of on the fence, or a producer, and I say, no, this artist is really amazing for this, and I put in that push, and then they trust me enough to see that person, and that person books it. That's very fulfilling, because that's a creative take on things, of doing things a different style, and I love that. I love everything that I do in the LGBTQ plus space. I love working with Leo Shang. He's currently on the L Word. I think he's phenomenal, and he's an amazing activist, an amazing person. And then Neff Jones, she's a really good friend and casting director as well. She created a really amazing project called Unstoppable. I love being a part of this with her, with being on the journey with her. She created a music program in the Bronx with kids from Mott Haven Kids Academy, a music program. And a lot of these kids are from the foster care, shelter care system, or deal with poverty in some type of way. What she's done for these kids and what she's created has been great. And we've been putting on the performance at the Sheen Center. And of course, we did a virtual performance this past year that was amazing. The documentary and the doc was just brilliant. So those are three things that I guess out of a million things that I'm very involved in and I love being a part of.
Looking at things from a talent perspective, how can talent make your job easier?
That's a great question. I think that talent who communicate effectively, who respect boundaries, who also realize that when I'm giving them advice, whether it be up their game in training, up their game in headshots, whatever it may be, when they listen to me and respect what I'm saying and know that I'm not saying this just to talk, it's not coming from ego at all, it's because I want the clients to be extremely successful, I think that makes a great client because they respect what I'm saying. They trust me. They're not reactive. They're saying, okay, I understand where you're coming from. It's a team effort. It's a partnership. And when also clients bring me contacts too and say, hey, I met this producer. I think you'll gel, or I just happened to book this job and I think you should be this manager on it. I think that makes a great client because they're realizing it is a partnership. I'm hustling, but we're in it together. It doesn't happen just one-sided. It has to be both of us really feeling that it makes sense for us to be in this together.
Yes, it is. That's how I've always felt about it. And I hope those talents that will be listening really listen, you know?
Yeah, and you've proven that over time and time again to be that kind of client and that kind of person. So, you know, and it's okay. It's not for everyone either. It's not like I would force someone and say, hey, I'm your manager. No, it has to feel like you want me as your manager, that this is about me helping you in any way that I can and using my 20 years of experience to help you get there. It's not like I just started this yesterday and I'm like, I really think through things that I'm also sharing with whoever I'm happen to be managing.
Yes. Of the projects that you have been involved in since COVID, what are you most proud of? Since
COVID, I'm so proud of my client, Carly Sullivan. She's a creator. She's an amazing person, amazing talent. And she's a real creator, and she created a show that focuses on solving murder cases with a certain take. I don't want to give away the show premise because, you know, it's still, the show is greenlit, but that's for her to tell and not me. But I'm really proud. Why I'm so proud of this is she's also an activist in her own right. And I think her shows and this show is going to make a difference. And I think that she's going to be making a difference in the fact that we can do these shows together, and I can be involved in making decisions and helping her ultimately make the right decisions. Since COVID, just being involved in this project and being involved with her has been absolutely amazing. And that's one thing since COVID. I've also been really proud of a lot of my clients who have just really been booking in COVID through their self-tapes, taking things really seriously and knocking it out of the park. And I'm so proud of them to be booking roles during this time. I've been involved in different projects on the activism side as well during COVID, because I've also been, you know, kind of switching to help co-produce. You know, what I tell everyone, it's like a pause and a pivot to just kind of be creative. We're not going to be in this space forever, even though it's really difficult for everybody. We're not going to be here forever. So taking things day by day, thinking about how you can still be creative in the business and forming new connections for me and meeting people through Zoom or whatever the virtual way has been very fulfilling.
What I've been telling some people who would listen to me is, this is the time where you can actually concentrate on trying to improve on yourself, you know, in one way or another, and to kind of look at things as sort of like towards the end of the tunnel, where when you come out of it, you're in a better place. You're not just then going to start doing things creatively for yourself at the end when you can be working on it during.
I agree with you 100% on that. I feel what I've been telling friends or colleagues, it's going to be like a renaissance almost. Like you're coming out of something, and then all of a sudden it's going to be like an explosion. And I think there's going to be a need for such comedy and a need for other things. And so it's like taking this time to really also reflect who I'm not only behind, but who's behind me. It's been a great time for that, of self-reflection.
So now, what do you do for your mental health? to relax.
Yeah. I'm a big swimmer. I've been swimming since I was 2 years old. So I don't know what it's like not to swim. So I swim an hour a day. During COVID, there was a few months where I couldn't swim between, it was like March, when all the pools closed, it was like March and April. It was in May until I could swim again. Mm-hmm. And so those 2 months, I decided to really explore photography, and I took some really good hikes and walks and explored a lot of nature during that time, and was really out for my mental health and my well-being, and explored different areas, and really took the time to see nature. And then once May I came around, I was able to swim, and luckily I could swim outdoors until October. I also go to the beach, so not just the pool. So swimming for me is my mental sanity. I did an hour today before we talked, and it's my way, either whatever I do it, to kind of focus, calm my mind, regroup myself, because I'm making a lot of decisions that are extremely stressful every day. I also like to meditate as well, but the swimming is something for me that really keeps me sane.
Any strange COVID happenings? You know, some people that I've been speaking with, they talk to me about the strangeness of something that's happened with their body, that happened with their sleep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've had some different, more vivid, wild dreams. Not wild in like a fun wild, but like weird, wild, like vivid dreams that I never remember my dreams being this vivid before. So I think that's, since COVID and quarantine, something that's definitely been different. I've noticed. Yeah, so that's something. I don't know.
Are they good? Are they?
I can't remember.
On the horror story level.
Yeah, right. I see in colors, so which is just the way my brain works. So like, I don't remember specifically, but I remember seeing a lot of blue, a lot of red. So a lot of calming dreams and a lot of like fire dreams, wild dreams. So I don't know, but they've been just very vivid. And I've woken up and I've been like, wow, I feel like I've had all these dreams or what have you. So, and I've talked to a lot of friends that have been going through that as well with their dreams. That have just been a little bit, interesting. Their sleep patterns have been a little different. Everybody's on edge. Everybody's anxious right now. So trying to calm the mind and calm everyone's fears that it's not a forever situation. It's just right now, it's a day by day situation, and doing what we can in the interim. I know that it would have to be something about being very genuine to myself and to my artists, and compassionate and empathetic. And
if you were to write your autobiography, what would be the name?
I don't know what that would be yet, as of yet. Fighting for them in whatever way I can, to help them in any nature, but I don't know the name. I know that those would be the themes, and those themes would be would all be a huge part of it.
Just by speaking the themes, it just lets people know who you are.
Thank you. Yeah. And I'm not perfect. The world isn't perfect. No one's perfect. But at the end of the day, whatever someone's dealing with, I try to be their rock and support them as their manager in the best way that I possibly can. I think there's a lot that goes into being a manager. If you're not also relating to that person on a human level and trying to be as empathetic or help them as much, whatever they're dealing with, I think then it's hard then to be a good manager if you don't possess that. That's just my opinion.
Correct. Now, let's touch on the politics of the day. What are your hopes?
My hopes is that we come to find peace. I'm a really peaceful person. I mean, that's why I swim in the ocean, and the dolphins even came out to greet me for my birthday one year in September, because I go all the way out. And I feel like because we're so divided, I'm really want peace, wherever anyone happens to fall right now, wherever they're thinking, wherever their mindset is, to like come together. That's what I really want, because the divisions are not really helping anyone at this point. And for us to be united and that could be a fantasy for me, but that's something that I envision. That's something that I want. That's okay. I can live in my own world, and hope that becomes a much more peaceful time. Maybe, we will get there, but that's something that I'm hoping for everybody, wherever they're at in their mind and their headspace, to have peace.
Right. Is there a company, a project that you'd like to give a shout out to? Because things are hard out there, whether it's restaurants or different organizations.
Absolutely. Well, as I said before, Mott Haven Kids Academy is such an amazing school. And Neff Jones does so much with them. So I'd love to give a shout out to them and all the work that we do with Unstoppable, which would be great. And there's so many foundations. St. Jude's is always one that's really close to my heart, but I feel like, a lot of awareness is being brought to them as of late with the holidays coming up, which is cool. And all the food banks all over are super, super cool. It's a good time to really think about the food banks right now, this time of year, wherever you live, all the local food banks. I usually love the holidays. I'm the first one to be like at the parties and be so excited and to decorate and to see my family and to spend time with everyone. But this year it's just going to be a little different and hard for everyone. So I hope in general everyone's a little more empathetic to that situation in general, that everyone's going through their own stuff right now.
As I'm listening to you, I suddenly think of Renton.
Mm-hmm.
I really, 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 really thank you for taking a minute to be on this little podcast that I've begun, and sometimes I wonder, what am I doing, Lord?
I think it's wonderful, and I'm so supportive of you, and I can't thank you enough for having me. That means so much to me, so the feeling is completely mutual.
Great. Well, folks, thank you for spending your valuable time with us today. Please care to share, and remember, when you're on your beat, stay on the sunny side of the street safely and mask up. Genevieve Brewer, I appreciate you. All these years that I've known you, it's been like the first time. Thank you so much for being in my life.
Thank you, Ozzy, and the same to you. As you know, I'm sending you so many virtual hugs right now through the airwaves.
Thank you. And I know we'll be talking again very soon.
Yes, we will.
Love you.
Love you. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey there. Please help us in our mission to support those facing fatal diseases through our t-shirt sales by donating or shopping at OzzyStewart.com or supporting us at anchor.fm/OzzyStewart. That's ANCHOR.FM/OzzyStewart. And don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel at Ozzy Stewart. Yep. Leave a comment.